So, hello YouTube. A lot of you are new to this channel, so I'm going to introduce myself first. My name is Abhimanyu, and I try to make some entertaining content on the motorcycle and off it also sometimes. Light-hearted stuff. I'm a Delhi guy. I ride a CBR 250R, and that is all about it. So today I am gonna talk to you guys about if this bike, the CBR 250R, is really worth it with all the competition in the market right now. Should you go for it in 2017? Yeah, so I'm gonna tell you all about this bike, but I'm not gonna tell you all the positive points as all the reviewers do. Actually, I'm not much into reviewing bikes because I don't think anyone can review a bike or give you a good good information about it while he rides it for 10-15 kilometers on a highway. I've seen guys do reviews in a parking lot. I mean, what, bro? The best review you can get is get your hands on the bike and then do it. But I'm gonna list out a few things that I faced or I got to know after I owned this bike. So let's get started. Good, a long red light. That gives us plenty of time to talk about it. Yeah, so the thing is, you all know that it has a great engine. The Honda has been continuing the same model since 2011. If you want to know all the good stuff about this bike, you can watch the Power Drifts video. Actually, it was called Power to the Rider back then. That's how old this bike is. It hasn't been changed at all. And I'm gonna tell you what are the sneaky little bits you need to know. Firstly, starting off the headlights. I heard in a recent review of someone that the headlights are really good. No, absolutely not. They are not satisfactory at low beam. The high beam is good, but the low beam is not at all satisfactory when you're on the highway. Second of all, this is a different one, but the thing is, the length of the front mudguard is a little too short. What happens then is that in cases of rain or in mud or whatever, all the muck on the road, all that gets sprayed on the radiator. The fairing protects it from getting to you, but it gets on the radiator, and it's a very messy job to clean it up. You have to do it regularly in rains. And kya ho gaya bhai, sab ghusoge. I like the instrument cluster overall, but it's like because it hasn't been changed for a long time, it lacks a few things like a side stand indicator and gear shift indicator, whatever. I don't think that majorly concerns me. Yeah, vibrations not at all. Engine refinement superb. Handle by vibration non-existent. The seat is super comfortable. The riding position is super comfortable. And the exhaust note is very refined, very smooth. So the natural habitat of this bike, the one where it feels the most comfortable, is on the straight highways. It's not meant to take the corners, though it can take the corners pretty well, but it is not meant for that. The suspension is not very stiff. The frame is also a little flexible. It's not that stiff that it can handle cornering very well. You would feel much more confident on a RC 390 than on the corners. And the one most important thing while doing cornering are your tires. The Continentals that are provided stock on the CBR 250 are absolute shit, I tell you. I mean, I am actually on the way to replace the rear tire right now, and my bike hasn't even crossed 12,000 kilometers. That is majorly because I'm an aggressive rider. I'm aggressive on the throttle and the brakes. The rear end slips when you accelerate it too fast. It slips when there's a little dust on the road. It slips when there's a little water on the road. I mean, pretty much they are shit. The front is in okay shape right now. That I would change later. So I'm heading to the marketplace called Jeel. It's a motorcycle scooter market near my house. I'm not really sure where it is. I came here before with a friend, and so here am I now. Yeah, so talking about servicing, it is not at all good for the CBRs. The treatment you get at the service station is not very satisfactory for me when compared to the treatment you get when you own a KTM. I mean, now KTM showrooms even have lounges where you can get iced teas and what not, I've heard.
Good.
And in Honda, all you get is a stinking waiting room. Now, that is a secondary thing. The first major thing about Honda servicing is, even though the Honda bikes are very reliable, very dependable, but they need a few servicings, scheduled servicings, and they are comparatively on the slightly expensive side. I've had the free servicings, and the free servicings cost somewhere around 2,800 to 3,500, within that range. The engine oil, I mean, the parts are expensive. The engine oil costs 1,300 rupees. The brake pads cost somewhere around 650 to 700 rupees. That is actually expensive, and considering that the brake pads don't last for more than 3,500 to 4,000 kilometers, that is a regular expense. Obviously, the pros of this bike outweigh the cons that I just listed by a far long distance. And I've been asked this question so many times that I'm gonna answer it right now, that should you go for a CBR 250 or a RC 390? To be honest, it actually completely depends on the rider, the way he rides. If you are into cornering, if you are into aggressive riding, then the KTM is to go. If you're a touring person, if you like it to become your ride to be comfortable and not much hassle, then CBR 250 is for you. CBR 250s are well capable of putting up with the 390s till the speed of hundreds. 100, 110, 120. After that, the KTM 390s pick up the pace. Overall, CBR 250s are still a great package. After all these years, I was a little disappointed that CBR 300 wasn't introduced in India, but that's alright. I'm happy with my CBR 250R. If you like the video, do give it a thumbs up. If you found anything missing, do let me know in the comment section below. And I'll see you in the next one. Ciao.